As we all know, leaving the EU will save us millions of pounds every week, which means we're about to be almost as rich as George Osborne. So let's find out just how filthy rich we're going to be. Make it rain, bitches! In 2015... They're real fivers. In 2015, we sent £13 billion to the EU, which is about £250 million a week, not £350 million a week. Handy fact to know if you're hiring a bus anytime soon. The money was used to pay for all sorts of stuff, from economic development in Greece to our contribution to the Common Agricultural Policy. It also funded Donkeypedia, a blogging donkey from the Netherlands. That is real. European ass. Be careful what you Google. So leaving the EU could leave us with £13 billion a year to spend on whatever we want. But there's a problem. There are groups in Britain who already receive EU funding and will want to keep it. That's because the EU invested £4.5 billion back into the UK in 2015. If we take that off, we're left with just £8.5 billion a year, or £163 million a week. So, who are the British groups who want the UK to fund what the EU used to and are trying to stop us from enjoying ourselves? The Welsh and the Cornish. Of course they are. Cornwall and Wales both get significant amounts of money from the EU for a variety of projects. Cornwall's European funding amounted to around £60 million a year over the last 10 years. However, they've recently been told that the funding won't be matched and they'll be getting less than a third of it. This is the same Cornwall which voted leave. Counterintuitive, you say? Yeah, that all stupid. Local leaders have unveiled their three-step economic plan for Cornwall. 1. Get pliers. 2. Bite down on pencil. 3. Try and remove the bullet you just shot into your own foot. Things might seem bleak for the Cornish, but it's potentially even worse for farmers. British farmers currently get, on average, 60% of their income from EU subsidies through the Common Agricultural Policy. They get this money regardless of output. Now, you might think that sounds crazy, and you'd be right, but this is the only way many struggling farms can stay in business, especially dairy farmers who are often paid less for their milk than it costs to produce. If CAP funding isn't matched, we could be looking at 90% of farms collapsing and a British future with no cattle. And that means no more roast beef, no more cottage pie, and no more milk in our tea. Which means we start drinking tea without milk and eating horse instead of beef, ironically making us more European than ever before. Also, the CAP is distributed based on land ownership, not on what you do with the land, which means that honest British farmers benefiting from the CAP, including the Queen, Prince Khalid Abdullah of Saudi Arabia, and Sir James Dyson, who presumably breeds free-range hoovers. So while CAP funding has been guaranteed up to 2020, after that it's highly unlikely to continue at the same level, if at all. Bad news for farmers, but great news for the rest of us. Now we've got all the money from the Welsh, the Cornish and the farmers as well. That gives us £4.5 billion on top of the £8.5 billion, which means £13 billion to spend on literally anything we want. £13 billion a year is enough money to buy loads of things, including 224,000 social houses. It's enough money for the Conservatives to win South Thanet every year until the year 49-15. And that includes fines. Or it's just enough to hire George Osborne to make 3 speeches, plus a meet and greet. And that's how you spend the money.